Hello, my name is Jeff Gemiolo, and today we'll talk about pet care. Oddly enough, I've had pets on and off throughout my entire life, and people are being kind of crazy right now. I live in an apartment complex where literally 85% of the occupants have dogs, because it's one of the only ones in the area that have dogs, that allow dogs. And because of this, I watch maybe a dozen out of maybe 200 and some dogs that actually get walked by their owners around the place. And I'm pretty much outside a lot, and I'm actually on a patio a lot. So it's not like they're not around. You see them exit the door, immediately let them potty over on the grass, leaving their urine burn and going back in. So I consider that abuse, because you're not actually walking your dog, just simply walking your dog. It's actually abuse that you actually have urine burn. To my knowledge, and I've proven this, in that urine burn actually comes from your dog drinking water and the processed chemicals that are actually in your food to keep it preserved. Because when I switched her off of dry food to just whatever I'm eating, human food, that all went away. There was not a single drop of issue with that. And it actually seems to be worse with name brands. I don't want to name any out. I did use Blue Buffalo when she was a puppy. She would pick out all the little vitamin things for some reason. She just did not like them. But all in all, that was interesting. That's a pretty, you see that a lot, to the point where it's really, really troubling. Another quirky thing that you see people walking their dog, that they do take their dog around the block, but they do it in a stroller. I'm like, are you okay? That doesn't seem right. Well, that brings up a more interesting story of, there was a young lady, I referred to her in my story as the doggy girl. Well, she had her own dog. It was a pit bull. It was on breed restriction, and we're supposed to have one, so she had one. And it was a puppy, and she was going away for a weekend somewhere, and she asked me to go just pop in to see if it was all right. She has two dogs, one husky that my dog used to play with, and this other pit bull, which she did not. So I went over and looked into the dog, and the dog literally was in a small little crate, and there was feces all inside of it. It's like, okay, I got to clean this out. No, this is not acceptable. So I pulled her out of that, and the dog could barely stand. It could not move. I cleaned it up, and it still couldn't move. It's almost like it was been abused, because it wasn't walked at all. It was carried everywhere. I said, oh, this is not good. I go, well, baby, you're not dying on my watch. So I cleaned up her carrier. I put her in the carrier, and I took her with me to my apartment. And at that point, because I still had my dog in the apartment, who was walking free, I took my coffee table. I threw some blankets on it, and I let this dog loose on there, so it was like a giant pillow, but it was above the ground, so my dog would leave it alone. And my dog knows the dog, but really left it alone. So for the most part, it was kind of all right. I texted back that, you kind of have some issues here. How often do you walk your dog? Because your dog doesn't know how to walk. Well, I don't walk her. I just carry her around everywhere. It's like, oh. And you wonder why stuff happens to your dog. So within 24 hours, she was actually back home, and she took the dog. Did she walk the dog? I don't know. She was evicted about 2 months later. Don't know. If I had to take a guess, I would say no, because I've never seen her actually walk the dog. And the husky that she had was actually her boyfriend's husky. So the husky liked the boyfriend better. So that's kind of how that one worked. But the story actually, the stroller story brought me into that one because you are actually not walking your dog, which is kind of troubling. Just like food, people assume that those big giant 20-pound things you buy in a store is good for your dog. I don't know. Last time I looked, a dog walked around before there was even meal like that, used to graze for its own food. It would go over and forage for food like anything else. It would find a dead animal and eat it. As disgusting as it is, that's what it used to do. So I said, I get picked on because I feed them human food. I go, yeah, but the human food at this point, she's immune to chocolate and everything. It's because you slowly wean it into her system, doesn't necessarily have a problem. Now, the only thing she does have a problem with is enriched flour. I try to avoid at all costs anything with enriched flour, or giving her a lot of it. It just does bad things on the bowel side that I don't want to deal with. Nor does a lot of salt, if anything has a lot of salt. Now, I do know that Huskies are notorious for having gas. They eat, and it's disgusting. It doesn't matter what it is. Dry food makes it worse, actually. She'll walk over and just gas you out of the room. What I have found effective is that if you take some yogurt with probiotic, you eat it yourself, and then let her lick whatever's left off inside the container. I usually have 4 of them at a time. Usually after 2 or 3 days of that, it goes away. It just goes away. And unfortunately, I found out that it goes away in me too. So what's really quirky on this is we're probably more similar in biology than we like to admit between us and our dogs. Just saying. But that's a good thing. I look at it as that's a good thing because the more she's teaching me about me. As creepy as that sounds. Last time I look at it, I don't have a tail. I'm not a dog, but so biologically we're very similar. Yeah, I actually don't get a lot of people will actually do the raw food diet, which technically that is the most native for the dog. I just know that my dog, being a husky as she is, she does enjoy her chicken. Oh, she enjoys her steak. Oh, she does. But she also eats rice. She eats green beans on occasion. I've seen her eat a potato, just a whole uncooked potato. She wants to eat, she'll eat it. She does what she does. But I just want to stress to people, why don't you let dogs be dogs? Dogs, a lot of people like dogs because, oh, look, they're their companions and they're whatever. I go, but if you don't take care of them like a dog, I'm not saying walk the dog 10 miles a day. When I was living in an apartment, I was walking her about 10,000 steps a day, which was about 4.5 to 5 miles. Now I walk her about almost 10 miles a day, over 20,000 steps. And today I'm already at 14,000. So, but that's the facts. Is it's about taking care of each other because you take care of your pet, she'll take care of you. Now, what's even more interesting is in the spiritual side of sense, your pet could be your spiritual pet. If you had a pet pass away when you were younger, and the pets you have now, this magically appeared in your life, like just came to you, and acts the same way as that one did, you may have your spiritual pet. Especially one who listens the way they do or has the same behaviors as the other one. You may want to think about that. Because I heard that somewhere and it made me laugh because that's her. Because from day one, she never talks to me. She rarely, up until this last year, she didn't actually talk to me. She didn't bother. She's kind of giving me this dirty look. We got the Let's see. She'll give me the yes gesture, which in doggy words, she can't do this. She does this. Okay, and the no gesture is just a blind stare. Like, are you stupid? I've been married before. I recognize both of them. So, but yes, as I said, that's the funny part about this is even when I was younger, when I in my youth, let's just say in my 30s, go back 20 years, I used to work at night, so I'd go over and tuck my wife to bed and jump on the computer and work for another 2 or 3 hours, and then kind of slither back into bed. What's funny is first year I had my dog would, sleeping in the bed with me, wait for me to sleep, jump off the bed, go over and chew on a bone for about an hour and a half until I rolled over, and then she'd jump back in bed and say, oh, I was always been here. So it took a little while to actually convert her from being nocturnal, which is normally what huskies are, to being more in the day. So I finally got her there. Right now she's more territorially looking around more than it is anything else. But yeah. So that's what my opinion is on pet care. I think people should take a lot better care of their pets. And for those that do take care of their pets, hats off to you. So I find if you take care of your pets and you pay attention to your pets, what happens to them, you feed them A and this happens, it's a reaction. You may not want to keep doing that. But when you find out you have less vet bills, less problems. My dog is lean as heck. Everyone says she's underweight. I go, I don't control her eating. She does. She's 44 pounds. She's an Alaskan Husky. And she's 5 years old. Literally, we'll go for a walk. She will go over and look where she can scavenge on the way while walking. She's a female. She's used to having pups, so she's always looking for food. So she'll go over and she'll eat whatever she can find on the way until about 8 o'clock at night, and then, well, I guess I'll eat that dog food that you have. If I'm still hungry. If she didn't beg, borrow, and steal anything off of you. I said, that's just... And it's one of those traits that, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to get rid of it. If anything happened to me right now, I could just open up the door, let her loose. She's pretty much the same husky as she's always been. She's going to chase a squirrel, she may catch it, she may not. She may chase a bird, she may not. Either way, she will eat. She will find water, because I made sure I didn't train any of that out of her. I said, she doesn't really talk to me. That's all she really does. Is the best thing I've ever done to her is I go over and say, well, what do you want? And I'll put my hands up like this, what do you want? And she'll look at me like, give me a dirty look, and she'll tap her paw in a bowl like, don't you see it's empty? Oh, you want some water. Also be aware, most dogs are learning dogs. My dog was a learning dog. She had a visiting dog come by, drink out of the toilet once, and from then on, she'll drink out of the toilet. So, no chemicals for toilets anymore either. Well, I never put toilet. That was her emergency backup water anyway, so I can't say anything. So, I just wanted to point that out to y'all. I'm sorry wasn't a lot for cats, but I'm sure actually cats are very similar. Now, the oddest thing I've seen about a cat is I've seen someone backpacking with a cat on their back, where they have a little backpack where the cat could sit in there and look out the back. I've never seen that before. That was different. I've seen someone walking a cat on a leash. I've seen a cat on a third floor balcony just hanging off there like, hey, look what I'm doing. You don't normally see that out of cats, but we have a very pet-friendly apartment complex. So, thank you for listening. Have a great day.